Regress to beat stress Part 5. The next day was Friday and Katie honestly tried to relax. Just the same, she found herself going over and over the files. Millie came within a millisecond of spanking her to get her to stop and take a nap. Even with a warm bottle, it took a while to get Katie to sleep. Everything in the files had to do with what the assassin had done all over the world. Not one word gave a hint to his identity or nationality. It seemed he never spoke to his victims. When you added in the black pajamas and the mask, he was pretty much invisible. Katie got up from her nap and went right back to work. That was when Millie told Katie she had a phone call. Hello. Hi Katie, it's Ron. Yeah Ron, what do you have for me? Hey, wait a minute, you gave me the weekend off. I was just calling to see if you would have dinner with me. You mean like a date, Ron? Yeah, of course, I am certainly not asking you out to talk business. Well Ron, I am not so sure that's a good idea. After all, you do work for me, besides I have a lot of work to do. Katie, damn it, you need to take a break and rest too. I am just a friend asking you to dinner. What do you think I am going to try and jump your bones? Of course not, Ron. Hey, you got something against my bones? No Katie, not at all, but I am a professional, besides you might try and kick my ass again. Hang on a minute then, I need to check something. Katie ran through the apartment like an excited 2 years old. Millie, calm down baby, what's wrong? I got Ron on the phone and he wants to take me to dinner like a date. What should I say? Whatever you want to say, Katie, it's not for me to decide who you date. Okay, let's say I go. What about curfew, Millie? I need to know now. I think your curfew should be appropriate to your age. Which means there is not one. Just go, love, and have a good time. So much thought, Katie, for Millie bailing me out of this situation. Ron, I guess okay, what time please? Well Katie, I wish you would not sound so excited. Let's say I pick you up at 7. They said their goodbyes and Katie spent the next 4 hours getting ready. Honestly, she had just finished when the doorbell rang. Katie was dressed in a cute red cocktail dress and red high-heeled shoes. Millie had helped her with her makeup and hair and of course double diapered her, covering the diaper in red plastic panties. Katie of course had a spare diaper in her purse but was hoping not to need a change before she got home. Katie walked slowly to the door. It was the best she could do in her heels. Hi Ron, nice to see you, come on in. Katie was shocked to see Ron holding roses. Ron, are those for me? Ron finally recovered from his trance. Oh yeah, I mean sure, of course, damn it Katie, you're so incredibly beautiful I cannot even think. Katie grinned and took the roses from him. Ron, this is Millie, she sort of takes care of me. Millie, say hi to Ron. After the two were properly introduced, Katie handed the roses to Millie and asked her to put them in water. Well Ron, should we get going? Oh yeah, nice to meet you Ms. Millie. I promise to have Katie home early. Just have her home when you run out of fun things to do, but not too much fun, okay? Ron grinned and reached out and took Katie's hand. Katie was stunned when Ron took her to the nicest restaurant in downtown Chicago. Katie had prime rib and all the trimmings, while Ron had the biggest steak the restaurant offered. They made chit-chat when Katie tried to bring up the case. Ron hushed her. Katie, take the night off. After dinner he took her by cab to a local night spot. Soon he had her on the dance floor. Katie was weary of what might happen, but he was a perfect gentleman. Actually, Katie was having the time of her life. About midnight Ron suggested that they leave. Katie was more than a bit grateful. Her diaper was sagging to her knees. I was no help that she had had several glasses of white wine. When they left the club and entered the cool night air, the only thing Katie was thinking about was how incredible Ron was and how attracted she was to him. Katie had dated guys before, but never had she had these feelings. At least not for a guy. Suddenly the cool air got to her along with the wine and Katie found herself getting sick by the curb. When she had rid herself of her dinner, she looked at Ron. Ron, I am so sorry, maybe you should take me home. Katie, what you need is more fresh air. Let's take a carriage ride in the park. Katie, knowing her diaper was soaked, wanted to say no. She even tried to say no. But she simply could only say one thing. Sounds great, Ron. By the time they got in the carriage, it started to rain lightly. The driver put the top up. The first thing Katie noticed was she could no longer see him. As the carriage started to move, Ron snuggled close to her. Katie was feeling fine now, but her heart was going a mile a minute. Then Ron whispered to her. Katie, I know you have to be soaked. Yeah, I know about your diapers. If you have a spare, I would be glad to change you. Hey, I have 2 baby sisters, it's no big deal. Once again, Katie tried to mouth the word no. But looking into Ron's beautiful eyes, the only thing she could do was point at her purse. Before she knew what was happening, Ron had her lying on the carriage seat and had her panties at her ankles. He removed the soaked double diaper she was wearing and tossed them out of the carriage into a wastebasket they were passing in the park. He then gently and thoroughly cleaned her diaper area with a wipe. He slid the fresh diaper under her and, after taping it shut, pulled up her plastic panties. Ron then helped Katie up to a sitting position. Katie reacted by wrapping her arms around him and kissing him with all her pent-up passion. They snuggled and kissed for the rest of the carriage ride. Never once did Ron try a thing out of line. When the ride was over, Ron called a cab, as Katie held tight to his hand. They made out in the cab all the way to Katie's apartment. Ron paid the cab and sent it on its way. Before walking Katie to the door. As he kissed her goodnight, he pulled away. Anyone asked you from now on, you're Ron's girl. Katie giggled. Yeah, well, that makes you Katie's guy, and don't you forget it either. They kissed for another 10 or 15 minutes. Honestly, Ron had to send her in the house. I will call you tomorrow, hun, we will do something, okay? Anything you say, Ron giggles, at least away from the office. Katie then finally walked into her apartment. She found Millie sleeping in the living room. She woke just as Katie entered. Hey little girl, what time is it? I have no idea, Millie, but I do know that I am in love. Well, baby, that will have to wait till tomorrow. For now, you're little but needs to be in bed. Millie picked Katie up and carried her to the nursery. Katie was sound asleep before her diaper was even changed. Millie was grateful that Katie had changed her original diaper. Then again, she wondered. She was also happy that Katie had found someone. She tucked the sleeping girl in her crib and gave Katie her pacifier.